Hi, good morning everyone. I'm Dr. Sugandha Gaur. Today I would be talking about ABCs of design thinking. In today's time when we actually start teaching, the most important and most challenging part of teaching process is that how to make our creative lectures and how to make our sessions so interesting that students realize the importance of idea, and at the same time when they do execution they don't skip that major part of their thinking process. While I have been teaching for so many years, I have realized that with the exposure of internet so much into their learning process, it's very inevitable that when they think of the ideas, more than that, they are always surrounded by so many executions that they bound to jump from the challenge which they have as a brief to simply the execution. To avoid that process and to make them realize that they need to focus on ideas as well when they think of the execution, they must have the idea. I thought of making this more simple by just saying ABCs of design thinking, how that works. It's very simple for us to make them understand at the any start of conceptual course where the idea is equally important like the execution. And when we start that, we need to make sure that every student is actually following ABC of design process. A is basically the challenge which you give to them, and B is how you actually gonna say that challenge, and C is basically how you gonna show that challenge. Now, to make it more simpler, I would be taking one example which is really known in the public service announcement, and it is done by McCann for metro trains in Australia, and the idea is dumb ways to die. Whenever I want to share the same problem with the students, that why they are jumping from A to C, I explain them with this example. If I talk about dumb ways to die in ABC model, I would be saying that metro trains came up with the brief which is stay safe around trains. That is an A of that particular model. In the same scenario, B would be dumb ways to die, which is the idea. How you gonna say it? And the challenge was that metro trains wanted their target audiences to stay safe around trains. And the way they wanted to say it was dumb ways to die. And then C comes, where how you gonna show it? Now, how you gonna show it? They showed many characters doing silly things and dying, making it a same concrete idea of a combination of idea and execution together. And when we talk about this, we realize that how important it is to have A, B, C together. And whenever a student is actually jumping from A to directly to execution, we could realize that they don't have idea with them right now, and we could pull them back to B part. So whenever they are thinking that, okay, if this is my challenge, now I need to think of the execution, always you could pull it back and you could tell them that, hey, let's think of the idea first, because if we have idea, then we could definitely think more clear in terms of execution of the same. So that is how I think this model would be working perfectly with any kind of classes which involves conceptual thinking and design process where thinking is equally stronger like execution. This would also make them realize that whenever they have idea, how clear their execution could be, because they know what problems they are solving and how they want to show it. So it's very important to have what to be said. So what's the challenge? B is basically how you want to say that challenge, which is your idea. And C is basically how you want to show that challenge. Keeping these three simple steps in mind, we could always make our students follow the simple pattern. And at the same time, in today's time where ideas are very important as the execution, we also make them realize that to stay connected with their roots and to stay connected to something which is making design more potential and useful, it's the idea and then the execution together. So it's not just the execution. And we all are trying to solve the same purposes.